Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, friends. Kevin Lopez again from Personal Tutors. The topic today that I'm going to discuss is a chapter named The Letter by a famous author, Dhumketu. My friends, this is a story of post-independence era which actually revolves around the compassion, the grief, the pleasure, the joy and the sadness of a common man. The story is about an old hunter named Ali. Ali, being a robust, muscular hunter, no little tiny creature could go ahead and miss his eyes, was so good at marksmanship that he actually was famous in the area around to be a very good hunter. The plot here starts in a total contrast. Ali, waking up at 4:30 in a gloomy winter morning, started to walk towards a boisterous, lustrous building in the village. Whilst reaching out there, he finds the gates with an arch named the post office. Friends, Ali actually here is an old, battered man, nowhere to be seen as a hunter, depicts himself as a person waking up every gloomy morning, reaching the post office, hearing the names of various people, Mr. Superintendent, a letter being thrown out, Mr. Zamindar, the letter being thrown out, various names, the letter being thrown out, yet his name was never mentioned. It took him 5 long years to keep a wait for the letter that he actually expected to come from his daughter, who was married to a soldier somewhere in Punjab. Ali was almost known by everybody in the post office to be a person who comes every single day since last 5 years. Every single day he would come, sit in the post office, wait for his name to be announced and take a letter much emancipated by his daughter, yet no letter ever came. The story, my friends, actually is packed with deep emotions and a very good literature. The language in the story is really that we can emancipate to increase our vocabulary as well. Ali, being an old battered fellow down with grief, just try to explain the fact. He being down with grief, if we imagine an old tattered man waiting for the letter from the only child, his daughter, the only person he has as a family left in the whole world, expecting a letter from her and not receiving it, yet consistently keeping up the pace every day for 5 long years and coming every day and asking them for the letter from his daughter. That sounds courage. That is real courage. We can go ahead and work up on the notion that Ali was a person down with grief, yet he had the strongest courage and struggle to go ahead and expect a letter from a long gone daughter. One fine day, the plot again covers that Ali has not been appearing to the post office for a few days due to his ill health. A few weeks later, Ali actually turns up more shredded, more bent than ever, and more gloomy, yet looking more weird and tired. He goes ahead and actually directly speaks to the postmaster, who is quite irritated by the fact that Ali comes every day and sits like a pest. He actually confronts Ali by asking him on his face, "Why are you being so pest, my brother?" Ali simply gloomily replied, "My name is Ali." The postmaster lost his calm and startled him out to get out of the post office and not to bother them again. postmaster here actually goes ahead and does not empathize with the grief and the pain the old dad was having for his daughter's news and whereabouts. The postmaster here was actually expecting the letters and envelopes in form of humans. He wasn't looking humans as people with heart and thoughts. He expected them, he took them in a notion of parcels and envelopes, that's all. That was the day Ali was broke. He had a broken heart since that very day. He went out and spoke to the assistant, pulling out 5 gold shillings and giving it to him, whilst taking a promise that whenever his daughter's letter arrives, he would provide that letter at Ali's grave. Taken aback, the assistant asked, "How do you know?" Ali was very sure that today was his last day, toiling hard and waiting for his daughter's letter. Thus he speaks to the assistant and says that he has to make the letter reach his grave whenever it comes. Maybe today, tomorrow, day after, or years from today. The assistant walks out, taking the 5 gold shillings. Ali moves out and is not to be seen again. Until the day the postmaster shares the same grief as Ali. The postmaster's daughter was married in a faraway town, and he too, as Ali, was expecting a letter, an envelope from his daughter, which actually did not arrive, thus making the postmaster a bit skeptic and scared. Since his daughter was ill, and the stories laid in post-independence era, the medical conditions of our country weren't very much pure and to be relied on. The postmaster actually went ahead and was scared to a great extent. He actually was overgoing through the envelopes and saw an exact envelope that he expected his daughter to send. Taken in joy, he picks it up and just looks at it and wonders. It wasn't the postmaster's daughter, but it was Ali's daughter's letter in that envelope for Ali. Startled with the fact that 5 long years took Ali's daughter to write a letter to him, he immediately went ahead and asked the person, the assistant, about Ali. The assistant too went ahead and said that he'll go ahead and find out, because there are no whereabouts of Ali wheresoever he was. The postmaster that night had the envelope in his hands and actually went through a remorse. He realized the urgency of a father waiting for a letter from his daughter. He actually went ahead and found himself within the grief, the guilt of having thrown Ali out of his place and speaking so badly to him. He actually went ahead and felt the pain the old battered man had for 5 long years, expecting a mere letter containing the whereabouts of his daughter. Since he was going through the same grief and was empathizing in the same manner with Ali, he had a heart change. Now onwards, he stopped looking at person in the matter of parcel and envelopes, but he started looking at the people coming to the post office as people with joy in their heart, with plans in their minds, with expectations in their eyes. Early in the morning, the postmaster reaches the office, and to his amazement, he finds Ali leaning at the door and asking him, "Has any letter arrived for me?" The postmaster goes ahead and speaks to Ali about the grief and the guilt. The poor chap, Ali, simply gazes him with stony eyes with a gleam. The postmaster was taken aback with a strange gesture. The assistant in the same while, sitting nearby, arrives in the office and speaks to the postmaster, whilst the postmaster looks at the door where Ali was standing and is no more there. The assistant goes ahead and asks the postmaster who he was speaking to. To his amazement, the postmaster says that he is speaking to Ali, whereas the assistant exclaims, Ali has been dead for 3 months now, sir. The postmaster was taken aback at the gesture. Ali was standing at the door, so as in remorse, still waiting for the letter from his daughter, whereas he was exclaimed dead 3 months ago by the assistant. The postmaster was really taken aback by the fact. My friends, the plot closes here, and the next scene shows the slow walking postmaster and the assistant towards the cemetery and reaching the grave of Ali and keeping the letter from his daughter upon his grave. The story actually contains an involvement of a common man's toil within the relationships and the bond that they share with the family. It actually goes ahead and shows the transformation of a strict old postmaster to a humble, understanding postmaster who actually transforms when he encounters the same grief that he perceived in a man since last 5 years. So this is what the story is about. I'll go ahead and share with you a few queries that we have in the story, the letter. Can you think of reasons for this feeling? Discuss with your partners. The feelings is lonely, dejected and sad. My friends, if you see the picture of an old man, we can go ahead and find him to be lonely, because as the picture over here says, Ali simply walked alone every morning in the gloomy winters, whereas many of them would still be in the blankets trying to have some more sleep. Ali started his journey early in the morning till he reached the post office so as to anticipate the joy of having a letter from his daughter. Dejected? Yes. Ali was not appreciated by the post office staff either. Nobody wanted to hear his pain, his grief. Although he was asked to leave the post office by the postmaster himself. This gives a notion of a dejected old fellow and sad, yes. Friends, think about an old person having led a wonderful life, a glorious past, today walking on a stick, bent down, waiting for the news about the only person he had, that is daughter, yet not anticipating and being appreciated by anyone. The next question is, tortured by the doubt and remorse, he sat down in the glow of the charcoal cigarette to wait. The postmaster was waiting for, my friends, the postmaster was waiting for a letter from his own daughter. Now the grief and remorse that he had while sitting alone in his house near the cigarette. Friends, this clearly depicts the plot that it was a winter night, a gloomy night, no chirping, no stars, no wind, and the postmaster was sitting near his cigarette in a feeling of remorse and guilt, because yes, he felt the exact feelings that Ali was being tortured since last 5 years. Ali did not come to the post office for several days, as obviously he was unwell and was not able to walk to the post office. The postmaster's rudeness to all reveals his lack of empathy. The postmaster actually went ahead and saw the people as a material of parcels and envelopes. He did not find the hearts behind those bodies, the minds with joy and the eyes with anticipation. That was the postmaster's lack of empathy. We go ahead and share another question. The post office is referred as Ali's place of pilgrimage, as Ali used to reach the post office every day with a feeling of hope to get a letter and a faith that one fine morning he would be getting a letter from his daughter. Friends, usually a person goes to a place with hope and faith in order to receive a blessing or a gift. Thus, the post office is depicted as a pilgrim for Ali, since it was his last resort to get out of the grief of his daughter. Ali's walking to the post office daily, even in biting cold weather, shows his strength of will. The willpower the old man had that a letter would arrive one fine day just depicted his effort and his robustness in his young days. Why did Ali give up hunting? Ali had a single person in his family, that was his daughter. He used to hunt around, having a fact that the daughter would be around and feeling courageous and boisterous about the father hunting. Whilst when his daughter left after the wedding, Ali had no reason to be joyous. Ali had no one to share his courage, the valor and achievements. Thus, the old man gave up hunting in the grief of his daughter who was married. Tortured by the doubt and remorse, he sat down in the glow of the charcoal cigarette to wait. Who is tortured by doubt and remorse, and why? What is he waiting for? The postmaster, obviously here, is tortured by doubt and remorse because he felt the guilt inside him of treating Ali, whilst he was sitting in the same situation that Ali was facing since a long time, my friends. He was sitting there in grief and saddened by the fact that he felt today himself about the old father who he went ahead and asked to leave the post office while abusing him and torturing him as well. He was waiting badly for the morning to come and to reach Ali's place and hand him the much anticipated letter that he was waiting for since a long time, my friends. Ali came out very slowly, turning ever after every few steps to gaze at the post office. His eyes were filled with tears of helplessness, for his patience was exhausted. Even though he still had faith, why were Ali's eyes filled with tears of helplessness, and what had exhausted his patience but not his faith? The day Ali was asked by Postmaster and abused by him and asked to leave the office, Ali felt the pain and the grief. He went ahead and actually looked back at the post office helplessly, since he knew that he couldn't do anything. He couldn't fight them, yet he had the faith that this is the only place where a letter from his daughter would be coming and he would be getting it and reading the joy of her whereabouts. He was an old fellow, thus he felt helpless. The postmaster says to Ali, "What a pest you are, brother. Do you agree with the statement?" Ali used to go to the post office daily. All the people in the post office knew him. They knew that he used to come every day for a letter from his daughter. Yet the fact that a few people less anticipate a person coming to their workplace, sitting around for the whole time expecting a letter to come, that never actually arrived. Quite a few organizations dislike the idea of a person not involved in the organization coming and having a long time seat there. The postmaster, calling him a pest, yes, goes ahead and depicts his frustrated attitude towards Ali and his disadvantaged, non-attentive state towards the grief and the joy of Ali that Ali expected them to have. Calling Ali a pest is an unwanted object on the body. Thus, the postmaster's attitude as calling him the pest is totally neglected and negligible. What impression do you form of the postmaster after reading the story, The Letter? My friends, this is the last answer that I would be sharing today. The postmaster in the plot is shown as a strict person who actually went ahead and paid much more attention to the work rather than people around. He paid strict attention towards the letters and the parcels and made sure that they reached their destinations as per the job required. Yet, in the second plot we see that the postmaster is actually a changed man. He now looks at people not in the terms of parcels, letters or envelopes, but in the terms of people having a heart, people having an expectation, people having much anticipated joy of hearing by the someone they love. So this is the story that actually shows the transformation of a strict person into a caring, loving guy at the cost of our poor Ali losing his life for the sake and weight of a letter from his daughter. Want to know something about us? You can definitely press the button about us. Want to know something about this chapter? You can go ahead and get online data as well, or you can request the data on a pen drive. Thank you very much. This is Kevin Lopez from Personal Tutor, giving a brief about the story, The Letter. See you again.